Have you ever woken up and before your feet even hit the floor, the noise begins? Not the noise from the street outside or the birds chirping, but the noise inside. The relentless chatter of the undisciplined mind. It's a feeling, isn't it? A tightness in your chest. A faint, high-pitched hum of anxiety in your ears. The ghosts of yesterday's failures are already holding court in your head, presenting their evidence against you item by item. The anxieties about tomorrow's challenges are lined up like soldiers, their shadows looming large, ready for battle. The endless to-do lists unfurl like ancient scrolls, each item a weight. The self-doubt, the insidious whisper of comparison that tells you you're already behind. The chaos. It's a storm, isn't it? A private, silent hurricane that rages within the four walls of our own skull. And we are taught to just get up, to pour coffee on the hurricane and pretend it isn't there. To walk out into the world with a smile plastered on our faces, a mask of, I'm fine, while inside, we are drowning in the flood. What if I told you that the first hour of your day doesn't have to be a battle for survival? What if I told you that you hold the power to calm that storm, not just for a moment, but for the entire day? What if I told you that the secret to unlocking your fullest potential, to finding that deep, unshakable inner peace, to achieving those dreams that feel so far away, lies in what you do before 8 a.m. This isn't about another productivity hack to cram more into your life. This isn't about adding more to your already overflowing plate. This is about subtraction. This is about stillness. This is about discipline, not the harsh, punishing kind that feels like a prison, but the loving, liberating kind that hands you the key. The discipline to choose your thoughts, the discipline to own your morning, the discipline to master your mind. Stay with me, because what we are about to explore together could change everything for you. It's time to stop being a slave to your own mind and start becoming its master. The journey begins now. Let's really unpack that for a moment. This war for our attention. It's not a metaphor, it's a physiological reality. When you wake up and the first thing you do is grab your phone, you are initiating a chemical cascade in your brain. You're flooding your system with dopamine hits from notifications, but also with cortisol, the stress hormone, as you see a work email, a stressful news headline, or a social media post that triggers that ugly feeling of comparison. You are, quite literally, starting your day in fight or flight mode. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes shallow, your muscles tense, your body is preparing for a threat that doesn't exist, and it's exhausting. It's why you can feel tired at 10 a.m., even after a full night's sleep. Your energy hasn't been invested, it's been stolen. Stolen by 1,000 digital paper cuts before you even had a chance to decide what your day would be about. This morning, cortisol spike, when triggered by digital stress instead of natural waking cycles, has been linked to increased anxiety, impaired memory, and even long-term health issues. You are literally programming your body and mind for stress and failure from the moment you open your eyes. Think of your mind in the morning as pristine, untouched snow. It's a blank canvas. The potential is limitless. Every notification, every email, every news alert is like a dirty boot print, trampling all over that beautiful, clean slate. By 8:05 a.m., the canvas is a mess of other people's footprints, other people's priorities, other people's noise. And then we wonder why we can't create our own masterpiece. We wonder why we feel so lost, so directionless. It's because we gave away the map to our own day before we even looked at it. We handed the paintbrush of our life to a stranger and are then surprised when the painting doesn't look like us. This isn't our fault. Let me say that again. This is not your fault. The brightest minds of a generation are working around the clock at multi-billion-dollar companies with one single objective: to capture and hold your attention. Your focus is their product. Your distraction is their profit. They use principles of behavioral psychology, intermittent, variable rewards, the same mechanisms that get people addicted to slot machines to keep you hooked. They have designed these systems to be more compelling than your own willpower, especially in that groggy, vulnerable state right after waking. So this isn't about blaming ourselves for being weak. This is about recognizing that we are in a rigged game, and the only way to win is to change the rules. The only way to win is to build a fortress around your morning mind, a sanctuary that the outside world cannot penetrate until you give it permission. This is where the concept of mental architecture comes in. You wouldn't build a house without a blueprint, would you? You wouldn't just throw bricks and wood together and hope for the best. Yet that's how most of us build our days. We wake up and wander into the construction site of our lives with no plan, no design. Morning discipline is the act of becoming the architect of your own mind. It's the conscious, deliberate process of designing your inner world each morning so that it can withstand the storms of the outer world. It's about laying a foundation of peace, a framework of intention, and walls of focus so that no matter what winds blow during the day, your inner house stands strong. It's about deciding what furniture goes in the room of your mind for the day. Will it be the plush sofa of patience, the sturdy desk of diligence, or will you let the world dump its garbage of fear and comparison in your living room? The choice is yours to make, but you can only make it if you are awake and aware enough to be the architect. I want to get vulnerable with you for a second. I want to tell you about my rock bottom with this. It wasn't just about feeling frantic, it was about failure. I had a dream project, something I had been pouring my heart into for months. It required deep, focused work. But my mornings were chaos. I'd wake up, dive into emails, get lost on social media, and by the time I sat down to work on my project, my mind was a scrambled egg. My best energy, my most creative thoughts were already gone. I'd stare at a blank page filled with a paralyzing cocktail of anxiety and self-loathing. The voice in my head was relentless. You're a fraud. You don't have what it takes. Look at so-and-so, they've already done it, and they did it better. And so I procrastinated. I did busy work, answering emails, organizing files, anything to feel productive, but I was avoiding the one thing that truly mattered. The one thing my soul was crying out for me to do. And the deadline came, and I missed it. I failed, and it was a soul-crushing, humiliating experience. I had let myself down. I had let my dream die, not because I lacked talent, not because I lacked passion, but because I lacked discipline. I had allowed the world to trample all over my pristine snow day after day until there was nothing left for me. I had let the architect's office be overrun by squatters. That failure was my wake-up call. It was the painful, necessary catalyst that forced me to look at my life and say, enough! Enough of being a puppet to my phone. Enough of starting my day in a panic. Enough of giving my power away. I realized that if I didn't consciously design my mornings, my life would be designed for me by algorithms and other people's agendas, and I couldn't accept that. I would not accept that. So I made a pact with myself. The first hour of the day was mine, non-negotiable, sacred. It started ugly. I won't lie to you. The first few days of sitting in silence were excruciating. My mind was like a wild monkey flinging itself against the bars of its cage, screaming for its usual fix of digital distraction. The urge to grab my phone felt like a physical addiction, a deep, gnawing itch under my skin. But I just sat with it. I observed the craving without acting on it. I watched the monkey rage. And with each passing day, the monkey got a little quieter, the cravings got a little weaker, the silence started to feel less like a punishment and more like a relief. It was like coming home to a part of myself I didn't even know I had lost. It was like finding a quiet, peaceful room in a house I thought was completely on fire. This journey from chaos to calm, from reactive to creative, is not a quick fix. It's a practice. It's a commitment. It's a fundamental shift in how you view your relationship with yourself and with the world. It's the understanding that true power doesn't come from controlling the world outside of you, but from mastering the world inside of you. And that mastery, that incredible life-altering power is forged in the quiet crucible of your morning routine. It's where you meet yourself, where you build yourself, and where you decide with unwavering clarity who you are going to be today. So when we talk about discipline, we're not talking about a rigid cage. We are talking about the key that unlocks the cage you're already in. The cage of reactivity, of anxiety, of the endless chattering noise. It's time to find that key. It's time to turn it. It's time to set yourself free. Let's dive deeper into the how, because it's one thing to talk about these ideas and another thing entirely to live them. Let's start with that stillness, that 5 minutes of sitting with your breath. When you first start, you might think, I'm failing at this. My mind won't shut up. That's the biggest misconception about meditation. The goal isn't to have an empty mind. The goal is to notice that your mind has wandered and then gently bring it back. That moment of noticing, that is the victory. That is the mental push-up. Every time you catch your mind drifting to your grocery list or replaying a conversation and you lovingly guide it back to your breath, you are literally rewiring your brain. You are strengthening your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus and decision-making, and you are calming your amygdala, the brain's alarm system. You are teaching your nervous system on a cellular level that it is safe to be calm, that you are the one in charge, not the fleeting, anxious thoughts. After you've done this for a while, you can add another layer. Let's call it a thought audit. As you sit in silence, just observe the thoughts that come up most frequently. Are they about the future, the past? Are they fearful, judgmental, creative? Don't engage with them, just label them. There's planning, there's worrying, there's a memory. By doing this, you create a space between you, the observer, and the thoughts themselves. You begin to see them not as absolute truths, but as mental habits, patterns that can be changed. This awareness is the first step to dismantling the negative thought loops that hold you hostage. Now let's supercharge that gratitude practice. A gratitude journal is a powerful tool. The physical act of writing things down solidifies them in your mind. But let's go even further. I want you to try something called subtractive gratitude. Instead of only being grateful for what you have, take a moment to be grateful for the terrible things that didn't happen. Be grateful for the car accident you avoided. Be grateful for the illness you don't have. Be grateful for the argument you didn't get into. This practice instantly shifts your perspective and makes you realize how incredibly fortunate you are right now, in this moment. It pulls you out of the what if of fear and into the what is of profound appreciation. And what about that intention? We set it, we say it, but how do we make it stick? We do it through visualization. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a mental rehearsal. If your intention is to be focused today, close your eyes and visualize yourself moving through your day with that quality. See yourself sitting at your desk, the world fading away as you enter a state of deep work. Feel the satisfaction of completing a task without distraction. Hear the sound of your own calm, steady breathing. If your intention is to be patient, visualize yourself in a situation that usually triggers you, maybe in traffic or in a difficult conversation. See yourself responding with calm, with grace, with understanding. Feel the peace in your chest instead of the fire of frustration. By doing this, you are creating a neural pathway. You are giving your brain a map to follow. So when that situation arises in reality, your brain already knows the route to patience. It's been there before. You've already practiced success. And now I want to add a fourth pillar to our mental architecture, one that is absolutely critical, and that is movement. Our minds and our bodies are not separate entities. They are one interconnected system. You cannot have a disciplined mind in a stagnant body. This doesn't mean you have to run a marathon before breakfast. It can be as simple as 5 minutes of gentle stretching. As you wake up, feel your body. Where is it tight? Where is it holding yesterday's stress? Breathe into those spaces. Move in a way that feels good, or put on your shoes and walk around the block. No phone, no music, Just you, your breath, and the world waking up around you. Notice the cool air on your skin. Notice the colors of the sky. This simple act does two things. First, it gets oxygen flowing to your brain, literally waking it up and improving cognitive function. Second, it gets you out of your head and into your body. It grounds you. It reminds you that you are a physical being in a physical world, not just a collection of anxious thoughts. It connects your mental discipline with physical discipline, creating a powerful synergy that will energize you for the entire day. Let's add a fifth pillar, one that separates the thriving from the merely surviving. Let's call it conscious input. We've talked about avoiding the negative input from your phone, but what do you replace it with? A disciplined mind is not an empty mind. It's a well-nourished mind. Just as you choose healthy food for your body, you must choose healthy food for your thoughts. This means dedicating just 10 or 15 minutes of your sacred morning hour to reading a book that challenges you, that inspires you, that teaches you something new. Not scrolling headlines, not celebrity gossip, but a real physical book. Feel the texture of the pages, or listen to a podcast that expands your understanding of the world. This deliberate act of learning shifts you from a mode of passive consumption to one of active growth. You are telling your subconscious mind, I am a learner. I am someone who invests in myself. I am growing today. This small deposit of knowledge in the morning compounds over time like interest in a bank account. In a year, those 15 minutes a day become over 90 hours of focused learning. Imagine the person you could become with 90 extra hours of wisdom, of new skills, of expanded perspective. It's staggering. You move from being a consumer of digital junk food to a connoisseur of wisdom, and that changes everything. But what about that voice, that whiny, seductive voice of resistance that says just 5 more minutes? It's too cold. You can start tomorrow. We have to talk about that voice, because that voice is the gatekeeper of your comfort zone, and your dreams live right outside of it. You have to understand that this voice is not you. It's a primal protective mechanism designed to keep you safe by conserving energy. Its only job is to keep things the same, but you are not here to stay the same. You are here to grow. So, how do you beat it? You don't. You don't fight it. You negotiate with it. You trick it. You use what I call the 2-minute rule. When the voice says, I don't want to meditate for 10 minutes, you say back, okay, you're right. That sounds like a lot. Let's just do it for 2 minutes. And then you sit down and you do it for 2 minutes. What happens? 9 times out of 10, once you've started, you'll keep going. The hardest part is starting. The resistance is strongest at the point of initiation. By making the barrier to entry ridiculously small, you outsmart the voice. The same goes for journaling. I don't want to write 3 pages. Okay, let's just write 1 sentence. The same for movement. I don't want to go for a walk. Okay, let's just put on our shoes and stand outside for 2 minutes. This isn't about weakness. It's about strategy. It's about understanding the nature of your own mind and using it to your advantage. And this all comes back to your why. Your why is the rocket fuel for your discipline. If your why is weak, your discipline will crumble at the first sign of resistance. You need to know on a soul-deep level why you are doing this. And I want to be successful is not a strong enough why. It's too vague. You have to dig deeper. Why do you want to be successful? Is it to provide a better life for your family? Feel the love for them. Is it to create art that moves people? Feel the passion for your craft. Is it to finally prove to yourself that you are capable and worthy? Feel the deep desire for self-respect. Take out a journal and don't stop writing until you cry. Ask yourself, what pain am I trying to move away from? What pleasure am I trying to move toward? Who am I doing this for? What will my life look like in 5 years if I don't do this? And what will it look like if I do? Your why should give you goosebumps. It should be the first thing you think of when the alarm goes off. It's the emotional leverage you need to do the hard things, especially when you don't feel like it. But let's take that why to an even deeper level. Let's talk about legacy. This isn't about building statues of yourself. It's about the ripples you send out into the world, the way you live your life, the energy you bring into a room, the presence you have with your loved ones. That is your legacy. It's being created in every single moment. When you discipline your mind in the morning, you are not just doing it for you. If you are a parent, you are doing it for your children. They will not learn what you say, they will learn what you do. They will absorb your calm, your patience, your presence. You are giving them the greatest gift imaginable, a parent who is fully there. You are breaking generational cycles of anxiety and reactivity. You are creating a new legacy of peace. If you are a leader, a colleague, a friend, you are doing it for them. You bring a centered, focused, positive energy into your interactions, which elevates everyone around you. Your discipline becomes a quiet form of service. It's a silent permission slip for others to find their own calm. Your personal victory in the morning becomes a collective victory for everyone you touch. So when that alarm goes off and the resistance is screaming, remember, this is bigger than you. This is for them. This is for the world you want to help create. Now, I need to prepare you for something, because when you start this journey, there will be a period where it feels like nothing is happening. You'll be putting in the effort. You'll be sitting in silence, journaling your gratitude, moving your body, and your life will look pretty much the same. The storm in your head might still be raging. This is the most dangerous phase. It's what author James Clear calls the plateau of latent potential. It's the gap between the effort you're putting in and the results you're seeing. It's like an ice cube in a room that is slowly warming up. From 25 degrees to 26 to 31, nothing seems to be changing. The ice cube is still an ice cube. You're putting in all this energy and getting no visible result. This is where most people quit. They say, this isn't working, and they go back to their old ways just before the breakthrough. But what they don't see is that the change is happening on a microscopic level, and then you hit 32 degrees, and suddenly everything changes. The ice begins to melt. The breakthrough happens. Your discipline is the same. The small daily habits are what warm the room. You have to have faith during that plateau. You have to trust that your efforts are compounding beneath the surface. You have to fall in love with the process, not the immediate results. Every morning you complete your ritual, you are raising the temperature by 1 degree. And if you are consistent, if you keep showing up, you will reach the melting point. The breakthrough is not a matter of if, but when. Do not give up on the plateau. It is where your future self is being forged. Let's paint that picture right now. The person who doesn't do this, who continues to let their mornings be stolen. In 5 years, they wake up with that same jolt of anxiety. The phone is the first thing they touch. The storm in their head is now a Category 5 hurricane. The dreams they had are now ghosts that haunt them, reminders of a potential they never honored. They feel stuck, resentful. They see others moving forward and feel a bitter pang of jealousy, not realizing that those people simply made a different choice 5 years ago before 8 a.m. Their health has suffered. Their relationships are strained because they're always reactive and stressed, and they feel older than their years. They are living a life of quiet desperation, a passenger in their own story. That is a real possible future. Now, let's paint the other one. The person who starts tomorrow. In 5 years, they wake up before their alarm. Naturally, they wake up to silence. A deep, peaceful silence within themselves. The first hour of their day is a cherished ritual of self-care. They've read hundreds of books. Their body is strong and flexible. Their mind is clear and focused. The business they dreamed of is now thriving. The relationships they have are deep and meaningful because they show up as a calm, present, and intentional person. They are not just surviving, they are alive. They are the architect, the artist, the author of their own life. They look in the mirror and see a person they respect, a person they are proud of. They have built a life of purpose, not by a quantum leap, but by the simple, consistent, daily act of winning their morning. Which future do you choose? Because you are choosing right now with every decision you make. And here's a secret weapon in this choice. Your morning discipline actually begins the night before. This is the evening keystone. You cannot have a successful morning if you have a chaotic evening. It's like trying to run a marathon after eating junk food and staying up all night. You're setting yourself up for failure. So create an evening shutdown ritual. An hour before bed, turn off the screens, all of them. The blue light is wrecking your sleep quality anyway. Use this time to prepare for tomorrow's victory. Lay out your workout clothes. Put your book and your journal on your nightstand. Fill up your water bottle. These small acts of preparation reduce the friction for your future self. They are a message of love from your present self to your morning self. Then do a brain dump. Get a notebook and write down everything that's swirling in your head, all the tasks, worries, and ideas. Get them out of your mind and onto paper so your brain can relax, knowing they've been captured. This simple act can dramatically improve your ability to fall asleep and the quality of that sleep. You are closing the loops of today so you can start tomorrow with that pristine, clean slate of snow. Because here's the beautiful, paradoxical truth. The discipline you cultivate in the morning doesn't create a rigid, joyless life. It creates freedom. It frees you from the prison of your own reactive mind. It frees you from the chains of procrastination and self-doubt. It frees you to be the person you were always meant to be. Every time you choose stillness over noise, you are choosing freedom. Every time you choose gratitude over complaint, you are choosing freedom. Every time you choose intention over default, you are choosing freedom. Every time you choose movement over stagnation, you are choosing freedom. Every time you choose conscious input over mindless consumption, you are choosing freedom. Every time you choose to create instead of consume, you are choosing freedom. This isn't about perfection. There will be days when you miss your routine. There will be days when the storm feels overwhelming. And on those days, you must meet yourself with grace. Self-discipline without self-compassion is just another form of self-abuse. Let's make this practical. What does grace look like? It's not just saying, oh, well, it's a compassionate investigation. When you fall off, ask yourself, what triggered this? Was I exhausted? Was I emotionally overwhelmed? Did I let my evening routine slip? You approach yourself like a kind scientist, not a harsh judge. You look for the cause, not for someone to blame. And then you ask, what support do I need to make this easier next time? Maybe it means going to bed 15 minutes earlier. Maybe it means preparing your coffee the night before. Maybe it means telling your partner you need that quiet time in the morning. Grace isn't a passive act of letting yourself off the hook. It's an active process of learning from your missteps and creating a more supportive environment for your own success. It's turning a failure into a valuable piece of data. I remember a week where I was traveling, my schedule was a mess, and I completely fell off the wagon. I woke up late, grabbed my phone, and felt that old, familiar wave of anxiety wash over me. The voice of shame was deafening. See, you can't stick with anything. You're a failure. For a moment, I believed it. I was tempted to just write the whole week off. But then I remembered. The goal is not an unbroken chain. The goal is the recovery. The most important skill is not never falling. It's how quickly you get back up. So the next morning, I didn't try to do my full hour-long routine. I just did 2 minutes. I sat on the edge of the hotel bed and I just breathed. That was it. That was the win. That was me telling the universe and myself, I'm still in the game. The goal is not an unbroken chain of perfect mornings. The goal is to simply begin again, to come back to your practice time and time again, to know that every sunrise is a new opportunity, a new invitation to discipline your mind. Let's talk about the anatomy of our excuses for a moment, because our minds are brilliant lawyers, aren't they? They can argue any case, especially the case for staying in our comfort zone. Maybe your excuse sounds very logical. I'm just not a morning person. Let's examine that. Is that a biological fact written in your DNA? Or is it a story you've been telling yourself for so long that you've mistaken it for the truth? Is it possible that not a morning person is just a label for a body that's been deprived of a proper evening routine and a compelling reason to wake up? What if you rewrote that story? What if you started telling yourself, I am becoming a morning person because my dreams are more important than my comfort? Maybe your excuse is, I have kids, my mornings are chaos. I hear you. That is a real challenge. But let me ask you this, what is a greater gift to your children than a parent who is calm, present, and not screaming for their phone? What if your discipline meant waking up just 15 minutes before they do? Not to be productive, but to find your own center so you can meet their beautiful, chaotic energy with peace instead of panic. That 15 minutes isn't selfish. It's the most generous thing you can do for them. It's a deposit into the emotional bank account of your entire family. Let's talk about that bank account. Your energy, your patience, your creativity. Think of it as an energy bank account. Every time you honor your morning discipline, you make a deposit, a big one. Every time you wake up and dive into the digital chaos, you make a massive withdrawal before you've even had breakfast. When your account is full from your morning practice, you have the currency to pay for the challenges of the day. You can afford to be patient in traffic. You can afford to listen deeply to a struggling colleague. You can afford to have a difficult conversation with grace. You can afford the creative energy to solve a complex problem. But when you start the day with a withdrawal, you are operating in overdraft. You have no currency for patience, no currency for creativity. Every small challenge feels like a catastrophe because you are energetically broke. Your morning discipline is not another task that drains you. It's the single most important investment that funds everything else in your life. And something incredible happens when you keep making these deposits day after day. It's a shift from doing to being. At first, you are doing a morning routine. It feels like an activity, something on your checklist. But if you stick with it, a profound transformation occurs. It stops being something you do and it becomes a part of who you are. Your identity begins to change. You stop saying, I'm trying to meditate, and you start to feel deep in your bones, I am a calm person. You stop saying, I'm trying to wake up early, and you start to know, I am a disciplined person who honors my purpose. This shift in identity is the ultimate life hack, because when it becomes your identity, the internal battle ceases. You no longer have to use willpower to get out of bed because a disciplined person just gets up. You no longer have to force yourself to avoid your phone because a present person values their own peace more than digital noise. You start acting in alignment with your new identity automatically. So ask yourself, who do I want to be? And then use your morning routine as the training ground to become that person. Each morning is a vote for your new identity. Cast your vote again and again and again, and then you start to notice the ripple effect. The silent language of your presence. You might not even realize it's happening. It's in the way your child, who used to have to fight for your attention, now just comes and sits with you, knowing they have it completely. It's in the way your partner's shoulders relax when they talk to you, because they can feel they are being truly heard, not just waited on. It's in the way your team at work starts bringing you their best ideas, because your calm, focused energy makes them feel safe and inspired. You become a silent leader, not through your words, but through your state of being. Your peace becomes permission for others to find their own. Your focus becomes an invitation for others to do their best work. You change the emotional weather in every room you enter. This isn't an exaggeration, it's physics. It's the law of resonance. You are literally changing the world around you, not by trying to control it, but by mastering yourself. And that is a legacy more powerful than any amount of money or fame. It's a legacy of peace. Let's go one level deeper on this. Let's talk about the concept of decision fatigue. It's a real psychological phenomenon. You wake up with a finite amount of high-quality decision-making energy. Think of it like a full battery. Every single choice you make, no matter how small, drains a little bit of that battery. What should I wear? What should I eat for breakfast? Should I answer this email now or later? Which notification should I click on first? By the time you sit down to do the work that actually matters, to tackle that big project, to have that important conversation, to create that art, your battery is already half empty. You've wasted your best mental energy on trivial, low-impact decisions. A morning routine is the ultimate weapon against decision fatigue. It automates your first hour. You don't have to decide to meditate, it's just what you do. You don't have to decide to journal, it's just what you do. You don't have to decide to move your body, it's just what you do. By putting these critical, high-impact habits on autopilot, you protect your decision-making battery. You preserve that precious mental energy. You arrive at the important part of your day with a full charge, ready to deploy your best thinking where it will make the biggest difference. You stop being a person who is drained by 10 a.m. and become a person who has a reservoir of focused energy to pour into their dreams. You are no longer wasting your cognitive gold on mental pennies. And this leads to another powerful idea, the compound interest of self-trust. Every time you tell yourself you're going to do something and you do it, you make a deposit into your self-trust account. When you say, I'm getting up at 6 a.m., and you actually get up at 6 a.m., that's a deposit. When you say, I'm not touching my phone for the first hour, and you don't, that's another deposit. These might seem like small things, but they compound. Day after day, deposit after deposit, your belief in yourself grows. The voice of self-doubt gets quieter because you are building a mountain of evidence that you are a person who keeps their promises to themselves. This self-trust is the foundation upon which all great achievements are built. How can you expect to trust yourself to start a business, or write a book, or run a marathon, if you can't even trust yourself to get out of bed when you said you would? The big trust is built on the small trust. Winning the morning is how you build that small trust consistently. You start to walk through the world with a different posture, a quiet confidence, an inner knowing that when you set your mind to something, you follow through. This isn't arrogance, it's a deep, earned self-respect. And that self-respect is magnetic. It draws opportunities and people to you because they can sense that you are reliable, not just to them, but to yourself. Let's add a sixth pillar to our mental architecture, one that might surprise you. Let's call it aimless play for 5 minutes. This is the antidote to the poison of hyperproductivity. For 5 minutes of your sacred morning hour, I want you to do something with no goal, no purpose, other than the simple joy of it. Doodle in a notebook without trying to create a masterpiece. Pluck a few random strings on a guitar. Write one line of a silly poem. Juggle. Stack some rocks. The point is to engage your creative brain without the pressure of an outcome. Why is this so important? Because it teaches your mind that it is safe to be non-productive. It disconnects your sense of self-worth from your output. In a world that screams at us to always be optimizing, always be achieving, aimless play is a radical act of self-love. It creates pockets of space in your mind. It allows for unexpected connections and ideas to surface. Some of your greatest breakthroughs won't come when you are grinding. They will come in these moments of unstructured play. Discipline isn't just about creating focus. It's also about creating the space for magic to happen. You are reminding yourself that you are a human being, not a human doing. And as you practice this, you begin to notice something magical. Your inner world starts to change the outer world. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine, a manager at a high-stress tech company, started this practice. His mornings were pure chaos, and his days were filled with putting out fires. He was reactive, stressed, and his team felt it. They were always on edge. He started a simple 20-minute morning routine. Silence, gratitude, intention, that's it. For the first month, he said he felt the inner benefits, but nothing much changed at work, the plateau. But then, in the second month, things started to shift. During a tense meeting where a project had gone wrong, Instead of getting angry and looking for someone to blame, he found himself calm. He listened, he asked questions, he was able to see the solution instead of just the problem. His team was stunned. They had braced for a storm, but instead they got stillness. And in that stillness, they found the answer together. After the meeting, one of his senior engineers came to him and said, "I don't know what's different about you lately, but it's making me want to do my best work." His calm had been contagious. It had created psychological safety for his entire team. He didn't give them a motivational speech. He didn't announce his new routine. He just changed his own state of being. And in doing so, he transformed the culture around him. That is the power you are cultivating. It's a quiet revolution that begins inside you and radiates outward, touching everyone you meet. So when you feel that resistance, when that warm bed feels like a prison of comfort, I want you to remember this. You are not just choosing between sleeping for 10 more minutes and getting up. You are choosing between a life of reaction and a life of creation. You are choosing between being a victim of your circumstances and being the architect of your destiny. You are choosing between a state of anxiety and a state of peace. You are choosing between being a person who breaks their promises to themselves and a person who builds a fortress of self-trust, brick by brick, promise by promise. This is your life. It's happening right now, in this breath and the next. Don't let it be dictated by the chaos of an undisciplined mind. You are worthy of a life of clarity, of purpose, of joy, and it all begins in the morning. It all begins with you. Believe in your power to change. Believe in the magic of a new day. And most importantly, believe in yourself. You have everything you need right inside of you. It's time to unlock it. It's time to begin. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. If this message resonated with you, please consider subscribing and sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. And in the comments below, I'd love to know, what is one small step you will take tomorrow morning to discipline your mind? Let's support each other on this journey. Until next time, be well and be disciplined.